Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Jamie Jenkins, and this is she went to go get me something real quick. This is Toot. She'll say her own name when she gets back. But tonight we're doing our collab with our friends and family all the way from Australia. If she found out I'm in here messing with this camera, hold on, I'm gonna get in trouble. So listen, so we're here to do our collab tonight. Awesome guests. And what we do is we rehash some of our past and post talks, things of that nature. And it's a collaboration, right? It's a sharing of ideas, a sharing of knowledge, a sharing of information. And doing so, we learn a lot. Now, I'm not sure what they're learning, but I'm learning a whole lot. I'm learning a lot from the youngster. You know what I mean? It's just what it is. Tell them who you are. I did it.
I am who I am.
You are the great I am. No, don't do that. Don't
I'm Kalisha Patrice.
You are. So listen, we're going to bring on our collaborators, Old Heads Mindset Podcast.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hello, everyone. So good to be back. Looking forward to this session.
Absolutely. How has your week been? What is it is? It's Monday. Mm-hmm. So you're kicking the week. How was the weekend then?
Well, we going into our winter months. So we had a little bit of sunshine, when there's that little bit of cool, little bit of sun coming through to warm the bone.
Yeah.
So we went out and absorbed the sun. So that's what I did this weekend. Went out and rode the bikes and got a bit of sunshine on us.
That's what's up, man. So this is about to be your fall.
Yeah.
Coming up quickly.
No, winter. Sorry. So our climate is totally opposite to America. So when you guys are going in the summer, we going in the autumn. I mean into winter. So we going in the spring, we going in the autumn.
So our Christmas time is summer.
Yeah. So Christmas time, it ain't no snowflakes and stuff in the ground. It's 100 degrees over here, boy.
Yeah.
I'm so confused right now.
So do y'all celebrate Christmas in July?
No, we don't. Oh, they some people celebrate Christmas in July. Yeah,
less than 1% of Australians.
I am mind blown.
I'm like, wait a minute.
I never knew this. Okay, so but before we get started, we have a question of the day because today we went on WJTV. Jamie did a show on the news. He was live this morning at 9, and the question of the day was, what is the wildest thing you believed as a child?
Whoa.
About life or just in general?
Period. About life, about anything. What is the wildest thing you believed as a child?
Okay, well, I got one.
Okay.
When I was younger, and a lot of people my age also had this fear, but we always thought as kids that quicksand and falling into quicksand was going to be a lot more of a problem than it ended up being.
That's good.
Yeah, or we all had the fear. I don't know whether it was a TV show on at the time or something, but I was terrified that one day I was going to just fall into quicksand and that was going to be the end of me.
Malik, that's my fear right now. I have that same fear today.
Yeah.
I definitely think I'm going to get eaten by quicksand.
No way out. Once you get in, there's no way out of quicksand.
Like, how do you get out of quicksand?
You don't.
Yeah.
What about you, Ricky?
I don't know. I believe so many silly things. I would say, I don't know really. Probably believing in Bigfoot.
That's good.
The Bigfoot's out there.
You don't think Bigfoot is real?
No.
I'll tell you a fun fact, actually. A lot of people don't know this. Australia has our version of Bigfoot, and it's called the Yowie. Yeah.
So it's a myth all over different places.
Yeah, we have a Yowie over here.
Yeah, and you know what? That is a very fun fact because we were talking about Bigfoot and talking about how it is in different areas. It's called different things. So, like, if you're like in Antarctica or something, it's
abominable snowman,
right? That's
the
equivalent of the Bigfoot. And then so something happened.
It
was like, it was like it's crazy that people think that Sasquatch and Bigfoot is the same person. Well, it is. It's just like different areas of the country that you go to.
They call it different.
Sasquatch, here's Bigfoot.
Yeah. Well, Sasquatch ain't getting away with these cameras we got today. I'm sorry. If he out there, we gonna get it.
Yeah, we have a comment from Ronald Turner.
Uh-huh.
He says,
What's up,
I
Nick?
believe that the moon followed me wherever I went, wherever I was in a car walking around at night. It seemed like the moon was always in the same spot, keeping me company.
You're like, hey, the moon watching me. The moon just for me.
Yeah.
I can see that. I can see that.
That's interesting. But that whole so Australia is in winter now as we go into summer.
In
like
July. It's the same month there now. It's a day
so
or two off.
is that like, is it just them? Like, what do y'all know about Africa and Japan? Like, are they going into winter too? Like, now I'm very intrigued about
I am
the
too.
seasons.
Oh, like, wait a minute. Cut the show. What's going on with this weather?
I think it's a hemisphere,
Yeah,
and also the where you are in relation to like the sun. Or the
Mhm.
cycle. So yeah,
we on the other side of the world.
Yeah. So I don't know if you know this as well. Another little fun fact, but in Australia, when you flush the toilet or water goes down the drain, it goes in the opposite direction.
Yeah, the gravitational pull is in us because we below the equator.
That's in Japan. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
It goes left.
So do y'all get snow?
Some parts of Australia does.
Yeah,
Here in Perth, no.
We get in Western Australia. We have one little place that snows. It's Bluff Knoll. Yeah,
Right.
we have a little pocket of snow, and that's it. And it's like one time a year. Yeah.
Yeah. We don't really get, like Mississippi, get that extreme cold.
Yeah.
One day every 6 years.
Yeah. So we don't get extremely cold in the wintertime. It's cold enough. I got my sweater on and a t-shirt on.
Yeah, and we over here. I'm over here in tank tops and t-shirts, and
Right.
you over there. Y'all over there dressing.
You ready? Yeah, bundle up.
Yeah.
This is,
And
I don't
another
know.
little fun fact, we getting ready to actually, this is going to be our last collab for the next month. I'm going to be in America next month.
Okay.
In July. So I don't know if we can organize something or we just
can.
give it for the next go round, but
We can organize it.
If you got
I
the
can show up at the studio or
Yeah.
it might be here in Australia.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, hey, this is a new day and age. We'll
if you
get
got
it.
the time, we'll make it. Like,
Exactly.
just let us know what we need to do. Like, and I don't know if people understand the magnitude of what we have here, but like to be broadcasting in Australia and y'all being here in America and we doing this, it's great. It's phenomenal. So like, I just want to recap the last few shows. We've talked about finances. We talked about paying off your mortgage in less than 50,000 years. We've talked about growing. We've talked about like mental health. We've talked about you guys on your podcast have talked about depression and dealing with mental health. Like, we're here to discuss all the things. So if you're out there in the audience, you have questions, you want to talk about anything, that's what we're here for. But tonight we got a good topic.
You particularly enjoy this. This is a topic you enjoy. You have I
don't enjoy this topic.
You have some very hard yeses and nos dealing with this topic.
But I think it's a great topic.
I do too.
I think each of us, Malik kind of still figuring it out. But I think that each of us have probably a story to tell as it pertains to what we're going to discuss tonight.
Okay.
So Ricky, it was all your ideas. So we're gonna let you introduce the topic and we're gonna let you talk about how you want to dive into this.
Okay. Yeah, this topic is it's close to my heart because I've been through it, and it's something that I've been paying attention to over the years, and I know it's something that the youth can benefit from. So the today's topic is how to deal. Well, what are you going to do? Say, how do you deal with when you're moving from high school going into the next phase of your life? So it's the challenges of figuring things out and making sure that you're picking the right choices that matches your personality. So I think that's the topic we're talking about, isn't it?
Yeah. Direction in life.
Yeah. So it's about how do you get your right foot forward, at the right time in life.
Yeah. And even to tag on to that, to like, when do you start deciding and figuring out like, what do I want to do in life? Like, because a lot of times people be like, let kids be kids. Like, don't stress them out. Don't try to teach them. Don't get them no direction and understanding when they 19. No, they gonna be adults. You can't stop that process. So like, why not give them that responsibility when they're able to understand it, at least. I'm not saying, but I'm also saying, yes, I have been hassling my 10-year-old to pick a career. Yes, I have. So it's like, when is a good time to introduce life to children? And Malik, we'll start with you because you're the youngest of the group. Like, when do you feel is the best time to start introducing life to the younger generation? Like, when is it okay for me to be like, hey, life's hard, you're not gonna get everything handed to you? How do I do that?
I've thought about this question a lot. Probably up there with one of the more thought about things I've thought about. So I'll give you a very strange kind of biblical connection, but it isn't religious. So I believe that the story of Adam and Eve, where is symbolic, is a symbolic story, and Adam and Eve were in the Garden of Eden, and they, frolicking around naked, happy with all the animals and all of that. And then what they did was, which is very strange, they ate of the tree of good, of knowledge of good and evil, which doesn't sound like a bad thing. Like, if you focus on that, it says they ate of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. How is the knowledge of good and evil something punishable by God? But that happened. And my interpretation of the story is that what happened was that eating of the tree of knowledge of good and evil is a symbol for knowing right from wrong. And it was a symbol for growing up and going into adulthood. And some people believe, it's just a biblical story, but other people believe that the story of Eden is the story of going into adulthood. So what happened was, when they ate of the tree of good and evil, they knew right from wrong, and they learned of their nakedness and all of that. And then God said, great, now that you know right from wrong, you have to go out into the world. And that's why he kicked them out of the Garden of Eden. And the Garden of Eden is like childhood. It's this perfect little happy place that your parents or God, the people above you, carved out of the world so that no harm comes your way. And once you grow up and you learn right from wrong, you're now responsible. And now that you're responsible, you have to fend for yourself. And quick little thing, when a man comes of age, he gets an Adam's apple, like he's eaten of the apple of knowledge of good and evil, right? It's an interesting connection, right? So it's a symbol for puberty, right? And going into adulthood. Now, thinking about that, I'll finish my answer now, is that you have to let children have a childhood to a degree, right? Because they can carry, I'm of the belief that if children don't have a proper childhood, they'll seek that childhood in their adulthood, and it'll lead to a lot of psychological things that they need to work through later on in life. That's why you have a young child and you traumatize them with the horrors of life at a young age. It really messes them up for a long time. But in saying that, I think there needs to be a slow progression of facing hardship out of childhood. And I don't think that ends until about 25, about where at the age that I'm at now. I think it's a transition from about 10 to 25. I think that the 18-year-old, the 18 line is a line that we drew, within our culture, but is by no means, if you look at other cultures around the world, it's different. To the Jews, you're an adult when you're 13, I think, or when you're, and to other cultures, you stay with the parents until you're in your mid-20s. So I think that it's a spectrum, but I do think at the end that there needs to be a point where you are thrown to the wolves, so to speak, and you have to fend for yourself, because that's the only way you're going to learn what you need to survive.
That's there was a lot of valid points that you made. So I have a caveat for what you said about the Adam's apple. So there is no mention of what type of fruit it was that they had partaken of. Why do you feel like we as a culture, as a people, have automatically assumed that it was an apple?
I'm with you there. I think if you go really deep into theology, some people believe it's a pomegranate. Some people believe it was a fig. It was a fig tree. That's why they, symbolically, Adam and Eve wore fig leaves, over their private parts. The apple, I think, was, just the most abundant thing around in Europe. This is just my hypothesis, but I don't know. An apple is simple, right? I'm not too sure, but I am aware that, culturally we just call it the apple tree, but we have no idea what it was. We don't even know if it was red or what color it was. So
yeah, we don't. But that was a great analogy. Like, I appreciate everything that you brought into that. Figs are good. I do not like fig Newtons. I don't like
fig Newtons. Okay,
it's not. It's trash.
Okay.
It's old people food.
It's okay.
But fresh figs are delicious. Figs off the tree, I can eat them by the abundance.
Like a big prune fig.
Figs are great.
I'll pass.
Okay, so anyways.
Yeah.
Y'all got a dog?
Next door.
What kind of dog? See, listen, my ADHD.
She gone.
ADHD.
Well, yeah. It's my buddy of 30 years and his wife. They got a dog next door. And,
okay. Yeah. What do you think, Ricky? When do you think you should have fed Malik to the wolves? Do you think it's now, too late, too early? Like, when's the place that?
I'm from the old school where back in the day they didn't have too many things that you should and shouldn't do. Like, okay, you shouldn't do this because of that. I believe you do it right now, in the right now moment. If you feel it, if you can see it in them, if you see they're willing and able to absorb it, because you gotta be able to ascertain yourself. Are they getting what I'm saying? Are they getting what I'm putting down? Or else, can you see it flying over their head? Are they rolling their eyes, or is just not interested? So if you have a child that has that ability to sit and listen and willing to learn and grow, they have that mindset, then you pour it on them. If you have one that's not in that sort of mindset and they still sort of very sort of immature as they should be as a child, then you have to pick and choose your moments. So it's all about having being conscientious of the fact that you want to give them that information, but you have to do it in the right way, or else it's going to turn against you. They're going to actually look at you as a problem, as opposed to someone who's trying to help and guide them. So that's the answer, is to look at what you're dealing with and come up with a plan on how you're going to approach that child. Each child is different. So for Malik, I was bombarding him with a lot of information I didn't realize that he wasn't ready for until he let it be known. And then so I had to change my approach. I didn't like it. I didn't appreciate it. I got really offended and hurt. But I had to swallow my pride and say, hold on, well, he is not like me. Where I was thinking any old person, any wise person tell me something, I'm going to sit and listen. Listen to my elders kind of attitude. But not everyone's the same. So I had to learn to back that thing up. And then he stepped forward. And then once he stepped forward, I stepped back to the plate, and away we went. And this is how we were able to sort of build a relationship that we can sit down. He can come to me and we can talk about different things. And he can educate me, the wise fellow he is. So yeah, the answer is pay attention to your kid and pick and say, you got to treat each one. If you got more than one, you got to pick each one differently. So you approach them differently.
Yeah. Let me tell you what one of my things that kind of bother me, right? We collectively have a group of kids that we consistently pour into, right?
We are the Brady Bunch.
We consistently pour into these kids because we've made enough mistakes for them, right? That's kind of like part of going through life. You make a lot of mistakes not because they don't have to, because you don't want them to. I don't want you to bump your head on this exact same post that I did. Now, if you want to, that's great. But I'm going to warn you about it. I'm going to tell you about it. I'm going to direct you about it. And so what happens is you do that, and then you set an expectation, right? You set an expectation, say, hey, I've given you a playbook. I've told you to play. I've told you if you do certain things, This will happen factually, and is more hurtful as a parent or as parents when your kids aren't they aren't I guess receptive, right? And you're like, wait a minute now. Like I went through this and I know what I'm telling you is factual. I'm telling you, I'm yelling it, I'm talking to you about it, I'm sending soft notes, I am going around the way talking to you about it. And
for example,
how many examples do we get?
Specifically, for example,
okay,
we have 2 college students
yes
right now. And our biggest takeaway is we do not want you to take out loans, Sally Mae, none of it. We want you to be able to pay for college without having debt when you graduate, because we didn't have that luxury. Our parents did not pay for college, and we unfortunately did not save up enough money to pay for you to go to school.
Right.
So therefore, we're going to do what we can for you to be financially responsible to not be in debt, right? We're going to give you enough. But if you got a 15 on the ACT, you need to go to junior college. We're not going to pay for you to go to a college that you clearly did not prepare for, because you do not have the grades for this. You know what I'm saying? So like, but they like, nope, we're going to take out loans.
Wow. Okay.
And so, like,
as long as it's not a parent plus, and I don't have anything to do with it, do your thing.
Yeah, but see, this is where we have continued to evolve and elevate, right? Because my mom never said, "Okay, Jamie, you're making a lot of debt here. This is a bad thing." Like, she never told me that.
My parents didn't go to college, so they
didn't exactly know,
you know.
So my mom never said, "Okay, Jamie, look where you are right now. This is how much you may be making when you get out of school. Like, you're taking out enough money right now to set you back 20 years. Like, do you understand it?" Never had the conversation, right? So I'm up 1. We're up 2. Hey, don't do it. We're telling you this is a bad thing. Don't do it. It's a bad idea. Let's talk. Let's give you 20 ways to make money to where you don't have to do certain things. Unreceptive.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna tell you what's really scary. So what are they gonna tell their kids? So if I'm telling them the right, my parents told me nothing and I got it wrong. I'm telling my kids something and they're still getting it wrong. I can't even imagine what they're gonna tell their kids. Yeah. That's the scary part to me.
Right. You have girls.
I got a question. So where are you placing the blame then? Because you're saying that I wasn't told anything and I'm telling my kids something, and then it's kind of like you're implying that they're the problem.
They're idiots. Yeah. Yes, we're placing the blame on the children. Malik, I'm leaning into the mic. Yes, the children are idiots.
Malik,
we're gonna get counseled.
Malik, this is what we're saying, right? We don't know what to do at this point.
We don't know how to implicate,
we have soft conversations, we have hard conversations, we have conversations where they need to lead. Right. Okay, yeah, that's exactly. So I'm I'm Bill Cosby, right? I go with stories
don't say you
okay, but Bill Cosby type.
You are on the cover. Yeah, you are the Cosby Show.
The Cosby Show. Yeah, I'm the Cosby Show.
Was with Felicia,
yeah.
Bill Cosby.
Yeah, the person. What's his name? I'm Heathcliff.
Yeah, you Heathcliff.
I'm Heathcliff. I'm Huxtable.
Okay,
I'm Heathcliff, right? Yeah. Okay. We're not. Let's straighten that out. I'm Heathcliff Huxtable. Sit down. Talk to me. Let's go through this. Okay. What happens if you do this? What happens if you do that? You know, I'm trying to make them think and give them a way around and say, okay, this is where you've arrived. So what are you gonna do now? Like I'm trying to pull it out of them naturally, and it's not there. And I say, okay, well, this is what you need to do. You can do A, B, C, D. Then I give them options. Then they choose. I give them A, B, C, D. They choose 279. Like, that's not what I told you. I told you A, B, C, D. I gave you 4 great options. You chose a number from Jupiter that makes no sense. Like, why would you do that? That's not what we discussed.
But so okay, so pause on that. First, Ricky, do you have girls?
No.
Okay. All right.
I got 2 boys.
You
I got a
got
stepdaughter.
You got a
Got 2
stepdaughter?
boys. Yeah.
Okay. I was just asking. I just wanted to know because like girls are a different ball game. Like we got responsible girls, we got irresponsible girls. We got the only person in the only child that we have that we feel we got a little bit hope for just turned 10. And he has the mentality of an 80-year-old. Like he is very knowledgeable, but it's just like this is a different generation of children. And we say not even children, people in general. Because like I work with the public, he works with the public. They don't care about anything. Like it's just like we don't need no job. Like, you know, somebody else is gonna take care of us. And so it's and I don't know what it's like in Australia, but here in America, it is a struggle to get people to understand 1 + 1. Like 1 + 1 does not equal 2 in America these days. It is very hard. But Paul, I want to do a quick takeaway because we be so deep into like the real, we don't take a break for ha 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 ha. So I want to know something. What is y'all's favorite food in Australia? Or period in life? It doesn't have to be Australian food, but we do want to know about Australian food. But what is y'all favorite food?
My favorite food is pizza.
I knew you would say that.
I'm hitting pizza everywhere I go.
That's me.
Wait, Ricky, like cheese, pepperoni, all the words.
Yeah, pepperoni, cheese with the bacon and all of it. I don't really care for the onions and all that. The meat lovers, I like that.
That's called supreme with the onions and stuff.
Supreme, yes. Yeah.
Supreme, terrible.
What's the
I don't like pineapples on pizza, but other than that, I don't like anchovies. No, but anything else is good for me.
What's the cat's name?
Pepperoni with the bacon and I'm looking for that everywhere I go.
That's me, Ricky. That's me. I've been looking for that. I said, oh, they go to pizza.
Literally,
I'm a pizza connoisseur.
we went to LA. We went to LA a couple years ago, and we were down at Santa Monica, and he was like, "I want pizza," and I'm like, "We didn't came across the country, and you want pizza?"
Yes, I've never had it in Santa Monica. I want pizza. I want Santa Monica pizza.
I feel disrespect.
Yeah, it's that different sauce. And the different
it is, Ricky.
It tasted the same as Mississippi. Ricky, what's the cat's name?
This cat, Stanley.
Stanley.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Malik, what's your favorite food?
Favorite food. So what's funny is that it's pizza as well, but it's not related. Like we never had much pizza growing up. But I arrived at my pizza love like independent, and I like Italian Neapolitan style pizzas. I don't like American style pizzas or Australian style pizzas. I like really like smaller pizzas, thinner crust, less toppings.
Like wood fire.
Yeah, like wood fired kind of pizzas. And I make them a lot as well.
You make a lot, yeah.
I make the dough and everything and do like research into it and all that. So pizza's
my you always got to show out, man. Why you always got to show out?
When you come here,
It's one of my little interests. Yeah.
I tell you a strange thing about him. He doesn't drink sodas.
I'm not a big soda fan. I'll drink a ginger ale here and there, but I'm not a big soda fan.
I pretty much only drink water and some like
vodka
gym supplements and stuff. Yeah.
Vodka. Me. Water, vodka. Those are the only things I drink.
Clear. Keep it clear.
That put some lime in there now. Bit of lime.
Listen, a little lime go a long way.
Yeah.
Okay, y'all. Okay, so we're back to the real. Okay, so what we were talking about, guys, is how do we prepare our youth for the next steps in their life, and how do you know as a person that you are you're on the right path? This is the direction that you go.
Yeah, I have question. Yeah. So I have to respond to everything that you guys said. So I feel like I have an answer to like the problem, because it seems like they're just not getting it, and that that's the problem. I think that you might be underestimating how smart they are, and
that's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, so what I think is that it's not intelligence in the way that you might be defining it, as in like making sense of of the world, but I think they have more tugging on their mind than you might realize. Like there's like you have your voices in their ear, but they might have 50 yous, some from their friends, some from their cultural expectations, some from areas of their life that you don't even know about. So it's kind of like they're playing a calculation in their head. And when you're young, the world tries to sell to you what it's about. Like, and everyone tries to sell you a different version of life. And when you're young, you don't have any actual barometer to determine who's right. So I have my parents, and then I have my school, and then I have my friend Jimmy who says, "Oh no, this is what you got to do. Don't listen to your parents. Take out a loan and do this." And there's all of these kind of forces pulling on them. And so, for example, I'll give you insight into what it's like. It's like, okay, so I'm told that I have to make a lot of money because that's what my culture says. And I have friends who are richer than me, and I want to be on their level. And it's like, who am I if I'm not, that rich? My parents say this is how you make money, but I saw this TikTok the other day that says that's not how you do it. And I don't know who's right because this person making the TikTok has 30 years experience in the housing industry, and they don't. So it's like, well, I'm going to listen to the person who has 30 years experience who says the opposite of what my parents are saying. My teacher also gave me a horror story about, not doing what my parents said. And then this person says that they started a business, this, that, and the other. This pyramid scheme is, popping up and telling me this is what I should do. People saying that I should study this. People saying I shouldn't study at all, just relax and go into my mid-20s, and then I'll find out what I'm going to do at around 30. Other people say I should be doing stuff at 15 and I'm too late. So it's like, what should I do now? Should I pick something, just anything, or all of these like rapid fire conversations are happening in the head. And then like you and friends and cultural expectations are all saying to you when you're young, this is what you should do. And it is very hard to distinguish between what one should and shouldn't do. And I understand you might be saying like, look, I'm going to tell you what's happening if you don't do what I'm doing. But like the other areas of life are also doing that. It's like, what if I were to follow my parents? They'll say, take out a loan, or don't take out a loan and just pay off your stuff. And then I don't get the education that I want, and I don't live the life that my friends are living, or the life that I wanted to go for. And then I'm going to be 30 and then disappointed with my life. I should just take the jump. I should just take the loan and do what I want to do, and be along with my friends. And that's convincing to them. So I don't want to leave you with nothing, as in just telling you that, oh, it's just hard for them. But it might give you perspective as like how many forces are tugging on your mind when you're going into university. Mine was crazy. Mine was absolutely insane. Like I didn't know there are about 30 different forces, like tugging on me, telling me I should do this, telling me I should do that. So that might be some perspective as well.
Can I say one quick thing? We got to come back to this topic, guys, because it is way too much. I know you guys want to get through, and it's a lot to go over, and so we must come back to this topic.
Take your time.
What I want to say is on the parent side of it. I remember my dad saying to me once when I graduated from the Navy, and I was writing letters home, missing family and stuff like that, and I was saying things in my letter that they had never heard me say. And when he got the opportunity to see me, he said, "Boy, I didn't think you were listening." And I had to explain to him at that time, well, I was listening. I just didn't know how to answer or process what you were telling me. And that's where parents think they are saying things to their kid and they're just not getting it, but they are getting it. They're just not processing it in the speed or giving you the reflection that they're getting it. So it takes time for their mind and their brain to develop so they can understand what is that, and for life to catch up to them so they can understand and then give you what you're asking of them. So don't be disheartened thinking that your children are not getting it. You are doing the right thing because you both sitting down and you're telling them the do's and the don'ts, the woos and the won'ts. They are just not at this stage mentally prepared to answer that for you in the way that you want. But you better believe that they're intelligent enough to hear, listen, and then process. And then there's a bit in them to show you that I don't get it. I don't care what you say. There's a bit of that in them anyway, because that's what we are as humans. So don't try to tell me what I already know, kind of attitude. But in the back of their mind, they are getting it because you don't said it over and over to them. And that's why had to tell my dad, I just didn't know how to give you what you wanted. But now, as I've gotten a little bit older, and then now, as life has shown me, pretty much most things that my parents have told me has been on the money. And you guys are that kind of parent because you're growers, you're giving back to them and you're trying to prepare them. It's not coming in a malice way, it's coming at them in a way that I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to protect you. I'm trying to guide you. And that's why I was doing to Malik, constantly trying to preempt and jump ahead. And he said, man, I don't want to hear that no more. So I backed up, and now he's coming to me with different things and how he's approaching it, and he's regurgitating a lot of my words. So I'm saying, okay, I think he was listening. So I appreciate that from him. But the message is, yeah, your kids are listening. They're just not showing you what you want to see.
Yeah. We've written some notes down. So one thing was, so we have the two that we have that are currently in college. They both said they want to be veterinarians. We never seen them with an animal in their life. We ain't never seen them touch an animal. One of them that had 3 hamsters, 7 cats, 5 turtles, killed them all.
Right.
They flunking out of biology. They algebra, chemistry, no science. They passed it. And we just like, we're not trying to discourage you. That's not our goal.
We're here to encourage you.
But what we saying is, these are the classes that you're gonna have to pass.
You gotta excel in
order to be these things. Right. So, like, do you feel like this is the right path for you? Like, we support you. Like, we're gonna do what we gotta do to ensure that you get the way you need to be. But are you sure this is what you want to do? Like, it's like,
I don't think that's a good. I don't think that's a good idea at all, because like you don't. They're what they want to do might seem silly to you, but I imagine there were things that you wanted to do in life that seem silly to other people.
It don't seem silly to me, Malik. I just trying to figure out is that the right path.
Yeah. Well, in your perspective, they might be lacking the skill or discipline or interest in order to do what they want to do. I'm saying that other people can see that in you for the things that you wanted to do. So they might have more skill in that area than previously thought, or they might try it out and then realize it's not for them, and then it's just kind of the journey that they're on.
So this is the number one reason why I wanted to talk about this today, and what really old head is about is self-awareness, self-discovery. And when you're young, you don't know who you are. And so when you're coming out of high school, you still, and going into the big world, you're on first base of figuring out who you are. You only just now starting to realize that you need to catch up to who you are and where you're going. So what a lot of time we do when we make the next choice, we're not making our choice. We're making someone else's choice. Someone else has done this. Someone else is doing this. Or I'm going into an area, like you just said, they're going to want to be a veterinarian, but they don't even play with cats. So that means that you're about to do something that doesn't match your personality. It doesn't even match your interest. It doesn't match who you are, the core values of who you are. So it goes back to when you're young, you're not quite sure. So my message is that's why it's good to start talking to your children early on and mentioning this self-discovery, self-reflection, self-awareness, because they're not going to understand what they mean, but over time, the brain would learn to understand that's what that means. I made a mistake on this because I wasn't aware of what I was saying or what I was doing or what was about to happen. So you have to be self-aware so you can preempt the fact that, hey, you're about to go to university and pick a degree that you have really is not who you are as a person. You don't even like people, but you want to be a doctor, or you want to work in the people industry. You don't even like animals, but you want to pick to be a veterinarian. Where did that come from? So that's the key of figuring out what matches your personality if you're young, who you are, what your attitude is toward the world, and then you go from there to the next step in your life. What are you about to enroll in university or that matches who you are? Because most time, 9 times out of 10, when we go to university, we can go for 3, 4 years and get to the end and say, "Whoa, this ain't for me."
Yep.
I've done it myself.
I've seen it.
I studied 4 years of electronic engineering, got 1 month from finishing 4 years of electronic engineering, which was blowing my brain. So no, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be no Christian or working, and it's not who I am. So and I was in my 20s or maybe even 30. So it's still figuring out, Rick, who are you? What are you trying to do in life? So that's one of the keys of making that. I speak to the kids who are finishing school or finished school. Figure out who you are, or start studying who you are before you make that move. Don't go enroll in something or join the military because your cousin joined the military. Do the same thing your cousin did because it sounded good. It might be good for your cousin, but it might not be good for you. It might be good for a friend. Your friend made that decision to go and be a nurse. Why do you want to follow that? Because you like your friend, so you might have to make a decision that's good for you. That's the thing. So self-reflection, self-awareness is key.
That is an amazing analogy, and I think that us who are established in our careers, in our lives, have a story to tell. Like, because I got I got a chemistry degree. My first degree was a bachelor's in chemistry because I thought that I wanted to do something in chemistry. But I had children very early on in my teens. I was a teenager when I became a parent. And when I got this chemistry degree, I was like, it ain't making the kind of money that I needed to make because I was in Natchez, Fayette, Mississippi. They wasn't looking for no chemist in Natchez and Fayette. So I had to quickly revert and be like, okay, what else can I do? So I went back to school and got a nursing degree, And so I've been a nurse now for going on 15 years, and it was something that was quick money for me. So like Malik, we not knocking anybody for choosing their careers or their places, like, because you don't know. A lot of times you go into something, you think you got it all figured out, and it's sometimes you have to pivot. You have to change things because I thought this was what I wanted to do. But for example, these kids that want to be veterinarians, we are the type of parents who sit down and say, okay, this is what you want to do. This is how many years you got to go to school to do this. This is the cost of what you're going to have to do. So like, we're trying to put everything out in front of them for them to understand, but it's just not clicking. And, I don't know. We don't know how to make them understand.
Or if it should be clicking.
Or because maybe this is their dire desire, and guess what? We're gonna support them. We're gonna stand behind them. We're gonna push them. Whatever they want to do, we there for them. What'd you say?
What should be considered as well is that if your words are too effective, it'll give them anxiety. Because
I got anxiety. What about my anxiety?
Yeah, but it's their life. So what I'm saying is, with me, when I had too many things telling me, giving me horror stories about if I don't do this, if I don't do that, it feels like you're walking on eggshells. There's nowhere where you step when someone's telling you shouldn't do it. And if that is too effective and it gets through them too much, it gives them anxiety. It makes them feel like life is this big scary thing.
So
right, and that's not a true portrayal of life, because life is scary, but life is safe at the same time. So that's the thing. Like my parents, my mom is conservative and my dad is a go-getter. Like my dad is creatively minded, entrepreneurial minded, but my mum is always safe. Don't do this, don't do that, don't go off and do this, get a stable job, do this, work yourself up. I don't know if you know that. My mum has always been conservative with me. She's always been an ear tugging on me to do what is safe, And my dad has I wouldn't say push me to do extravagant things, but he's supported it quite strongly and just kind of let me do my thing, right? Never judged anything that sounded crazy. For example, Dad never once in his entire life ever heard me talk about candles before I started a candle business, right? So he might have been thinking, what do you know about candles, right? And so now I like to think I make candles that no one else in Perth make, absolutely unique, right? So if, like, the human mind is too complicated to know, and so it's too at the same time it's too complicated to know. It's not smart enough to handle all of the messages that one might get. So I think that it's a little bit of a balance of just kind of letting them do their thing, and then, you know, when they need help, kind of let them run to you, like the same way I did with Dad.
Yeah, I think that's the key. I fully understand what you guys, how your makeup are, and how your approach is, and your attitude. You've been there and done that, so now you want to make sure that you're not going to do what I've done. I'm going to protect you. I'm going to give you that advice. So I think the key is to give them the advice and back up, because it's important for them to actually go forward with what they want to do and fall into those traps and then learn, because that's really important in life too. You don't get anywhere in life until you make mistakes. And if you're willing to go against your parents' advice and then go and make a mistake, you're going to learn a life lesson twofold, because you're going to first learn that you should have listened to your parents, but also you're going to learn what that lesson taught you, that it was never going to work. If you don't apply yourself in a certain thing or learn more about what you're trying to do, you're not going to get there. You've been told that, but you go against that advice. Fine. Now I know better. What you said is absolutely correct. So I think the thing is to always just give them that advice, tell them what they need to hear, and then back up and watch the show. And it's hard for parents because we don't want to see our children fall off we don't want to see that. But I think, me personally, I think that's very important to allow. If it ain't gonna do detriment to them, I think it's important to allow them to go through that process, because that's the fast track of learning in life, in my opinion.
Yes.
Listen, Malik, I have a question. You said that the amount of ears or the amount of voices that you hear can cause anxiety, right? And I absolutely believed in that. I guess as a parent, you know, I'm seeing the flip side of it, right? As a parent, would you prefer me to tell you less and you've maybe not get enough information from me to make those decisions, or overtell? I know there's always a sweet spot. Of course, I can just tell you just enough and you figure it out, you know, what's great. But let's just say I chose not to tell our kids, you know, any direction over the next 6 months, 8 months. Okay, I've given you a bunch of information. Let's see what you do with it. And I know this, and I know there is an extreme, but I know that happens also, because after you pour out, okay, you know what? Maybe I'm doing too much pouring here. Maybe I need to just, you know, allow them to live their lives, which is life.
In short, because you're long-winded.
Okay.
Is it more anxiety driven to give you lots of information or give you no information?
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah,
that's what I said.
So the boring answer is, as you said, is a sweet spot, is not extremes. I hate extremes. I hate it when people live by extremes and by rules that say never this or never that. It is always a complex mixture of multiple different things. So I think there needs to be a mixture of giving them guidance and letting them do their own thing. It's not one or the other that I'm pushing, right? My kind of thing is that as they're becoming adults, right, they're afforded now. They've left the Garden of Eden, and now they have to face, you know, their own responsibility or lack of responsibility. And for me, I think any adult gets 3 chances. So I think you tell them 3 times, and after the third time, you never say it again. Because as they get older, they will always have that in their head. I was told 3 times, or at least a number of times, right? 4 times is just nagging, but 3 times is good, because once is entering the idea in the head. Second time is getting their attention. and third time it should be home run, or fourth time really, but third time should be home run. After that, you're treating them like a child, because it's like you're nagging, clean up after yourself, right? Or go to bed. Whereas if they're an adult, any adult, like there's a degree, like I'm my father's son, but I'm an adult as well, so we're equals on adulthood, right? So in the eyes of, I don't know, the universe, my dad gets just as much chances to fail as I do. We're on the same playing field, right? There's no one looking after me, so to speak, in terms of myself. Now, I'm blessed with people who do look after me, and my parents and all of that. And my dad is blessed with people who look after him as well. But, I'm not afforded, I don't get any more child rights anymore. If I mess up and I don't listen to people who tell me things and keep my ears open, it's me who's, at fault. So I think there's a little bit of, that's the balance, right? Is that they're your children, but they're becoming adults as well. And they're becoming on the same level as you, so to speak, in terms of them, if they mess up, it's on them. So I think maybe if you think about it on a numbers level, like 3 times, once you told them 3 times, good, full explanations, then that's it.
Yeah.
Very well spoken. Very well spoken.
I think that only work. Well, it works if you don't allow them to make the mistake, but you pay their way out for them. So that's what is happening in a lot of cases where the adult child makes a mistake, but they asking for a handout for the parents to bail them out. If that continues over, that's going to be the burden that the parent, now you're still raising the child, and they haven't learned to listen and do what you ask them. So they're not taking action on the good advice. They're just listening and say they're going through one ear out the other, and then I'm gonna go and do what I want to do.
Yeah.
Because I can fall back on, if it don't work out, you're gonna bail me out.
Yeah,
that's when that theory doesn't work, because the parent has to say, okay, it's devastating to me to pull away from you and allow you to be an adult and crash and burn, but I have to do that because I can't keep aiding your mistake. And that's a heck of a position for a parent to fall into, and you wouldn't want that. But I'm talking about that now with family, where we have to learn to pull back and let that adult child crash and burn. But you're still there guiding it. You know what I mean? You're not just gonna let them whack themselves out.
Right.
But I'm
not. Yeah, we're not. On the circumstances.
He's not. I don't care what they do.
Yeah,
So
I'm not.
The dilemma for me is, because, like, Malik, I understand and I respect your perspective from a young generation, but you are still a generation above the children that we're trying to raise.
Yeah.
So it's just like we are not just giving them a blueprint. We are holding their hand, like, because right now we're running multiple businesses, right? On top of the businesses that we're running, we have created entrepreneurships for them. All they have to do is post on their social media. My son, in his senior year of high school, made more money with the brand that we created for him than we've made in 3 years with our brand.
Yes,
right?
That is true.
And he did not consistently push that brand when he moved to college. So, like, in situations like that, when you are giving them, when you are providing and putting the source of income in their hands, like, where do I go from there? How do I?
I'll give you a good response to that. If I were in his shoes, I would do the same thing.
Wow. You would not continue to push your brand when you're making money?
No.
Oh, okay.
Because there's more forces at play. Like, there's more going on in my head. It's like my parents created this. It's not mine, right? I didn't do it. I don't
Incorrect. Pause. This was something that he came to us with, that we pushed for him. This was not something we created for him. This is something he brought to us and said, this is what I want to do. So he said, this is what I want to do. So as parents, guess what? Finance, supported, built from ground up. So this is something that he's supposed to be doing, because he asked us for this. This is not something that we came and said, hey, son, you need to do this. So
no. I understand that. There's more, though. There is the idea that if I don't know what it's worth if I didn't sweat blood, sweat, and tears over it. I just know myself very well, and if I were in his shoes, I'd probably end up doing the same thing. I probably run off and try something else or run to university. So if you think that, you know, I'm pretty square to a degree now, have faith that, you know, he can be square too by 25. I just think that, like, I did a lot of unpredictable things, you know, like, it's great. What you guys have done is absolutely amazing. And it might feel like not like you're not appreciating it. Like, you know, we gave it to you, but I don't think you're understanding how complicated like a mind can be. And sometimes you need to throw away what's handed to you so you can walk back to it. I think that's just what I feel.
And there's two things there where you remember a millionaire can go broke and become a millionaire again. So if he's learned how to do this now and he go off and do other things in life and life beat him up, teaching you on the wrong path, he has the ability to fall back on that and say, well, I already know what I need to do. I ran away from that, but I know how to do this. So he can always go back. So you created that for him, which a lot of people don't have. They don't have that X factor where they have their own product or service. They don't even know how to do it. So he knows how to do it. He might track away from it and go pursue other things in life, but he can always come back to that. So that's the magic that you created, and you have to fall back on and allow him to go off and see the big bad world and pursue other things you want to do. Because everybody needs more than one bow in the cap. You know, we need to be able to have a variety. Yeah. So, but he can always come back to what he already knows. And so that's what I would say.
I think to run a business, you need desperation and drive, but I think that desperation and drive cannot be handed to you from someone else. It needs to be forged by the fires of struggle in life.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what? I am in awe because what I am taking away from this conversation, y'all, we coming up on an hour. I know y'all don't believe that, but we have been on here talking for an hour.
Yeah.
And it has been a very intriguing and exciting conversation.
Absolutely.
Like, so like what I'm taking away from Malik tonight is let them fail. Like just back away. Take your hands off of what they got going on. We got 3 seniors coming up that are about to graduate from high school. I have been, and you know what is so prominent about what you're saying is, as a high school graduate, I graduated a year early when I was in 11th grade. My parents did nothing for me. No college applications, no FAFSA. I did FAFSA, whatever it is. I did all it myself. And that forged a fire in me that grew me to the person who I am today. And I've done so much for these children that they don't even understand the fire that they need to be, you know, the people who they desire or need to be. So like, I am grateful for this camaraderie that we have, for this collaboration, because I'm learning a lot from you that they may not necessarily want to talk to us
or
about
know how to.
That part, you know. So like, thank you, Malik, for like opening our eyes, opening the doors from your perspective, because you younger than I thought you was, because we is old.
Yeah, I'm old.
Very old.
I'm sorry.
I didn't know how old we were.
Hey, what about me?
You are a dinosaur. But Ricky, no, we appreciate everything. Like without you, this wouldn't even be a thing, you know? So like, we absolutely appreciate everything that you guys are bringing to us as Americans. We did not know was winter in Australia.
Listen, we talked about that for 15
How many kangaroos have y'all seen?
Sorry?
Kangaroos?
What kind of kangaroo?
How many? They live in y'all backyard?
I was just out a few weeks ago. Not last week, the week before. Marilyn and I was meant to go for a walk, but it started raining, and then we looked over as kangaroos in the paddock. So we just stopped and just started recording the kangaroos and started bouncing around. No matter where we go, if we go up in the hills or wherever, there's kangaroos everywhere. So kangaroos are like deers in America. You can see them.
They're like, okay, they kind of remind you of deer too.
Deer.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
I have one more question about the atmosphere there. One of the most terrifying things I see about Australia are these huge spiders. Tell me about these huge spiders. That made me not come right there. That alone, I would lose my mind. These spiders like bigger than my hand. Is that true? Tell me about that.
I like to pretend they don't exist.
He's got a phobia.
Me too.
Wait,
Me too.
wait.
Malik.
You like
Yeah.
to pretend they don't exist? Like,
Yeah.
are you saying that they do
They're
exist,
rare.
but
They're very rare.
They're out there, but it's like they're like the I don't know. They pop up in unlucky situations. Like I've heard my friends, they've been in the car and one just crawls out in the car. But then again, last time I saw one was probably when I was like 15 years old. Like I've never seen a big spider like that in a long time.
Yeah.
But they're out there.
very rare.
They're out there. Yeah.
okay, all right.
I can tell you my story on the spider. I remember I was leaving work day, hot summer's day, and I was in a car that didn't have air conditioning. And man, I was driving and I saw this big, like a big hand over to the peripheral. I look a big ass hunt this spider. I nearly crashed that car. Couldn't get over to the side of the road quick enough. I pulled that car over and rolled that window down, and the big thing jumped out. But that was the only experience I've ever had with a big hunt. It's probably
I'd
about
have been
that.
dead. Yeah, big in your hand.
What
Yeah.
what about like snakes and stuff? Like, how do y'all feel about like snakes? I held a snake the other day, so I feel like I'm
I've had
Yeah, Crocodile Dundee.
basically.
yeah, I stepped on a snake.
You stepped
Really
on one?
stepped on a snake.
I stepped
Really?
on one too as a kid.
Yeah, I had a couple of where I've been standing and there was a snake right next to me. Didn't move. It looked like a tree branch, and it's been a few episodes with the poisonous snakes, and if they hit you over here, you're gonna.
Yeah, you got to go out into the bush to see that though. Like your average suburban Australian probably has never seen a snake out and about.
Yeah.
Okay. Listen,
But
funny
we have
story.
been-
It's one of those things. It looks worse on TV than in real life.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Is it there's a horror movie that's based in Australia. What is it? Do y'all know it?
many horror movies?
Bluff Knoll or no? Was it
No. We got
Knoll
Wolf Creek.
Wolf Creek. That's
We
what
have Australia is one of the best horror like film kind of.
It's another one though. Is it Chainsaw Man? No, that's Texas. It's another one where they was like taking them out to the middle of the woods and cutting them up and stuff. I'll have to find it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the one.
Wolf Creek.
Oh, it ain't that.
That's
I-
another
you know.
one we're from. Yeah.
So do y'all have Bad Boys 3 there? Is it there in
Yeah,
theater?
we saw that last weekend.
Did-
2 weekends ago. Me and Mary went and saw that. That's all we do. We go to the movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we late.
We so late.
We can't listen. Now we catching up on good times.
Yeah.
So okay, all right. So Malik, you have to answer this question:
Oh Lord.
Kendrick or Drake?
Oh, you understand. I'm sorry if I'm gonna offend you guys. I've detested Drake since his genesis in the
You
Wow.
wait, hold on. You say you
I've
detest
been a
Drake?
Kendrick Lamar fan since like as long as I can remember. I've been saying Kendrick Lamar is before people were saying it. I was saying Kendrick Lamar is going to go down as one of the greatest of all time.
You only offended Jamie. I am.
Wow.
Yeah,
I am a
You
Kendrick.
do the light skins like this.
Yes.
You do us like this. Really, Malik?
Yeah.
He does not subscribe to the light skin
Antics.
way I see it is that Kendrick Lamar's "To Pimp a Butterfly." Have you heard it?
What is it called? What'd you say?
Kendrick Lamar's "To Pimp a Butterfly," his album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that to me is one of the greatest albums of all time. It is just poetry, and so I don't know. I've never seen Drake produce anything like that. Anything
No.
even close to that.
No.
I agree with you. Jamie's a big Drake
Come back
fan.
with me, man. What you got?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were traveling. We came
Little
so
Rock?
Nashville. We were
Nashville.
from Nashville one time, and we were like, I was like, Drake. I don't like Drake. I'm not a Drake fan.
Yeah.
He was like, I don't know any Kendrick Lamar songs that I even like.
Why
And
you
I
gotta
was
talk
like,
like that?
oh,
Why you gotta talk
my
like
bad,
that
my
when I do
bad. I was mocking you.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, bet. So I started dropping Kendrick songs on the radio. He was like, okay, yeah, I do vibe with this. Yeah, I like this. I like this. I was like,
Yeah, she did about 15 songs. She's like, I like, okay, I changed my mind. I might like Kendrick
you
Lamar.
don't like
I'm
Kendrick?
surprised.
Him and
Have you heard Kendrick Lamar's newest project, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers?
No.
I don't think so. Well, we
Sure.
may have, and I know we have.
That album is ahead of its time because what it's about is mental health issues in the Black community and how they're not willing to talk about it. And it's some really deep stuff.
He's a deep
And
rapper.
the rapper Tyler, the Creator, put it that it was a little bit too deep for the black community. That's why it didn't kind of blow up as much, because they were like, oof, you know, that's a bit much.
Yeah.
But I would really give that album a listen. So it's about, like, you know, trauma and like, you know, holding it in for generations, and then it kind of
I've heard people talk about it.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'll check it out.
We're definitely gonna check it out. And Ricky, who you got?
Wow. I don't know.
Okay, Ricky. I'm gonna go.
I just listened to Drake's first. I don't know, not Drake. Kendrick Lamar first song yesterday. It was at Not Like Us.
Not Like Us.
I watched it and I was like, okay, because I want to see what this beef was about.
Yeah.
And, but I know some Drake songs. I know more Drake music than Kendrick.
Yeah.
Okay,
Ricky. Don't let that worry you. Temptations or 5 Heartbeats?
Yeah. Temptation.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
What's your favorite Temptation song?
I have no clue. I just know that more. I didn't know a bit about that music.
Okay. All right.
It's my era, my mom's era.
Yep. Oh, okay. Okay.
I know Temptation's still playing a lot in the South.
Okay. Tell me who's your favorite artist, Ricky.
Favorite artist, Michael Jackson.
That is interesting. I have never said put that Michael Jackson on.
No?
I'm not a fan of Michael Jackson. I just don't listen to his music. I'm more of a Prince fan. I prefer Prince.
He's right up there too. Prince. I love Prince.
Yeah. What's your favorite Michael Jackson song?
Billie Jean, Beat It.
It's Not My Love.
Thriller, all of that. Yeah.
Man in the Mirror.
You like Man in the Mirror?
Yeah.
Okay. I like You're Not Alone. That's me. What about you, Willie? What's your favorite Michael Jackson song?
Melancholy. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. It makes you feel good.
Yeah. What's your favorite Michael Jackson song, Malik?
Michael Jackson song, probably I think it's like Heal the World or something.
We Are the World?
Oh, Heal the World. That's the song.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Oh,
Make it a better place. Yeah, that one.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
What's your favorite?
My favorite?
Yeah.
I say You Are the World. We Are the World. You're Not Alone. I'm sorry.
So
You're
who's
not
your favorite artist?
alone. Yeah, I am here with you.
So who's your favorite artist?
That's enough, Michael. What you say?
Who's your favorite artist? Lil Booty?
Huh?
Who's your favorite artist?
My favorite artist. So like I am really big on local people. And I hate to say local because I don't want them to feel like they're small.
But they're in that proximity.
They're like people who are around us. So he has a nephew, King. I cannot not shout them out. He has a nephew, Navia, that does music. I have an artist that I work with called Young Jules who has music on the stripper show. I can't never think of the name of it. Pink something.
Yeah.
I can't think of the name of it.
The Pink, they'll let me sing.
Like if I'm thinking like on a grand scale, my favorite artist would probably be Jasmine Sullivan. I'm a big Jasmine Sullivan fan.
Okay. Never heard of her.
You said you never heard of her?
Never. I mean, I've been in Australia 30 years. I'm sorry.
Ricky!
Is she jazz or something, or blues, or what was she sing? R&B?
She's R&B.
Okay. I'm gonna check her out.
I'm a big blues fan. I love TK Soul.
Johnny Taylor right here. Johnny Taylor.
Yeah. Love BB King, all of the old school stuff.
Got a quick question.
Okay.
So you guys like Lauryn Hill?
Yes. Big fans of Lauryn Hill. Yeah.
Do you agree with Apple Music putting her album the #1 greatest album of all time?
Do not agree with that. But
no way.
But it's a good album, but it's not the greatest album of all time.
It is timeless.
It's top 10. Top 10.
It's top 5.
Yeah, very strange.
You can play that album.
You can.
And not do anything. You can just put that album on and just ride.
I'm a huge Lauryn Hill fan. I've been here for Halloween several times.
But I'm a bigger Badu fan.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We went to see Badu last year.
These are the side effects of living overseas for 30 plus years. You stunt your growth, stunting my growth. It wasn't until recent years I was able to watch NBA and the NFL. So I had to get involved with the local sports. I think the last 10 years. So 20 of the years, there was no NBA on TV.
Wow.
Unless you recorded, somebody from home sent it to me.
Wow.
No NFL. But
That's
now,
crazy.
Yeah. So I'm I fell out of contact with that, and they said, "Who's your favorite team?" I don't watch that. So it's easy for me when that Colin Kaepernick scenario happened. It's easy for me to check out from watching NFL.
Yeah.
Support the people, because it could have been a great people movement at that point, but people couldn't let that sport go. We ain't letting that. But for me, so music, my grunt is stunning. My buddy next door, he's from California. He stayed in touch with all of that. Somehow he would find ways of streaming different things in his music. For me, I just checked out. Got into working.
Yeah. What is y'all's local sport? Like, what is
soccer?
No. It's called AFL.
Yeah,
it's a big sport. It's called Australian rules football. Yeah, and
it's like rugby.
Yeah, it's a combination of rugby. It's completely unique, actually.
Yeah.
It's crazy because in Australia, it's probably one of our biggest cultural artifacts is AFL. It's huge. It's so ingrained. You walk down the street, you see someone wearing this, some sport, right?
Yeah.
But around the world, it's not. In America, it's not heard as much. But it's actually, I don't know if you know this, it's actually spreading around the world a lot.
Yeah.
Like Japan has its own AFL league.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So AFL is really.
It's a highly skilled game where they're not allowed to just run with the ball. They have to. It's like an American football, but a little bit puffed up. So they throw this ball on the ground while they're running at full speed and make it bounce back up to them. So every 15 steps, they have to throw the ball on the ground, and it bounces back up to them where they're at top speed. And then in order to get the ball to your teammate, you had to kick it to them.
Oh.
So they running that handball. So they're at top speed, and they kick this ball at pinpoint accuracy while guys chasing. And they don't wear pads. They wear short pants and sort of like, what do you got? Jersey.
Yeah.
And they tackle each other
with helmet.
with no helmet. No, so it's a different sport. And
Is
I fell in love with that sport. And
Is
So
it
I didn't
contact
mean-
sport? Like, do they tackle? Like, is
Oh,
it?
yeah,
Oh,
it's full.
Some of the most
Tackle.
violent tackles you'll see. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's
wow.
probably
They hit
more
each other
brutal.
at top speed. Like in the NFL, two guys top speed, they just don't have pads.
Oh,
Yeah. And the ball moves really fast, like around, like they'll have like plays where they just handball and kicking it, and you got to keep it off the other team.
yeah.
And they'll be tackling in between, and then it's just,
So
chaos.
how they score is like when we shooting for a field goal in the NFL, they shoot between goals, kicking the ball to go through the post.
Yeah.
And so it's 4 posts. If you get it in the middle, it's 6 points. If you hit it on the outside, it's 1 point.
We're gonna do an episode on Australia, I think. He's asking us questions about Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do need to do that. Like, next time it'll be all Australian questions. So, like, do y'all not play basketball over there at all?
Oh,
Basketball's big.
See,
Yeah.
Australia is a sporting nation.
Okay.
They love sports, just like America.
Yeah.
It's from the grassroots, in the back country. It's, in a small country town, sports is everything, right? It's
Yeah.
the exact same thing in Australia. And if you think of it this way, if you notice in the Olympics, Australia does fairly well.
Yeah, but we got small
But
population.
the population is only like 22 million.
Yeah.
Right, compared to America. You think about the threshold of America. We got 350 some odd million people, and we get our best top athletes, and they go over there and kick butt in the world. Have to say that.
Right.
But Australia got 22, and they still compete, especially in swimming and basketball,
Water sports.
Yeah, they're right up there because they love their sports.
Yeah.
They definitely love their sports.
All right, guys, we're at an hour and 15 minutes.
Wow.
I've had a phenomenal time. A great conversation. We will
Hey.
be.
Let's do this again. This topic, we need more on this one.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
for
I
sure.
still got notes. Trust me, I still got notes. I already said we will have a part 2. That's on my
He
notes right
wrote
here.
that down. Like, this
Yeah.
has been phenomenal.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
We're gonna give you guys a screen so you can tell them where you are, what you have to offer, and how to follow you, and then we'll get out of here because I'm sleepy.
Yeah. Okay. So please head over to our YouTube channel. Predominantly, we are Old Head Mindset podcast on YouTube. We upload videos at this stage from weekly, and so head over to our YouTube. That's where most of our stuff is.
Yeah, we invite all comments and connection. Hit the subscribe button, follow us. Let's communicate with each other. So we welcome all that Old Head Mindset podcast with the father and son team of Perth, Australia. I think we're the first father and son team, so we aiming to be the best. So follow us and subscribe. Thank you.